So first of all, I would just like to thank you guys for buying this course or previewing it. My name is Matt Sharp. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I am a game development instructor at Wilmington University. I've been there for about 4 years now. I'm an indie game developer for my own company called Momiji Studios. I've been doing it since I was a kid. Around 12 years old, I started developing. So I've been in the business for a while. I'm an avid gamer. I've been gaming since I was 3 years old. I played the original Super Mario Brothers when my hands could barely fit on the controller. I'm also a dog dad, and this is my beautiful puppy Phoenix. Just thought I'd put that in there. It's very important. So you're probably thinking, what is this course? Give me a good description of this entire course. What am I going to learn here? So this is an introduction to coding for people. So a lot of times in tutorials will say they're for beginners, and this is true for me too. Even as a developer, I still have to learn new things all the time. So I'll try to look at tutorials and they'll be very difficult. Like they will say it's for beginners and it's definitely not for beginners. They'll be just breezing over things that I have no idea what they're talking about. They assume you have a lot of knowledge. So this course is for people who have either never coded before, maybe they've tried coding before and just gave up. Maybe they're really intimidated by code. So that's who this course is for. And I mean, if you have a little bit of experience, that's fine too. You'll probably learn a lot from this course, especially if you're trying to hone those skills for game development specifically, or maybe convert over to C# from something like JavaScript or Java or whatever you worked with in the past. So this course is for beginners. That is who the target market is, and that's what I focus on. So we're going to be making a simple game using the Unity game engine. Unity 3D is a really cool game engine. It's completely free. There's pro versions, but you don't have to buy those unless you're making a certain amount of money off of your games. And if you're making like 100K plus a year off your games, then I don't think buying a license is really going to be that big of a deal for you, right? So we're going to be using the C# coding language. You can also use JavaScript in Unity, but I don't suggest it for many reasons I won't get into, especially since this is a beginner course and anything I tell you right now won't make any sense to you. So we're going to focus on C#. That's what we're going to be using. So we're going to be learning important concepts that you could actually transfer over to pretty much any coding language for any purpose. Coding concepts are really cool because they're universal. We'll learn things like functions and variables. Those are universal concepts you have to understand no matter which language you're using, no matter what tool set you're using. So let me explain the things that this course is not, because a lot of people come with expectations of these things, and sometimes they have the wrong expectations. So we're not learning the artistic side of games. We're not learning the visual side of games. We are just doing code, all right? Now we will have, some very, very basic primitive visual elements because you kind of have to have that to see your code in action. But this is not a 3D modeling course. This is not a level design course. We're not marketing. We're not building a product that you can ship. We are focusing on code. We're not going to make a finished game, like I said. You're not going to end up at the end with some awesome product that you can ship off or that you could just slap a couple assets on and call it a day, right? So we're not making a pretty game. That's very important. We're making a very basic functioning game. Something that works, just a playground where you can kind of see your code in action. That's what we're doing. Now you might be thinking, what do I need for this course? You need a computer, obviously. A PC or Mac is fine. Even a laptop would be fine. Unity doesn't take a lot of processing and graphical power. For testing, you want to have a pretty nice GPU, graphics card. You should be fine even with a fairly low-end laptop, especially for coding and the simple stuff we're doing. You'll be totally fine. You need to have Unity downloaded and installed. It is free. There's a link there in the PowerPoint. Just go to the website, click download. Totally free, no catches. I really, really suggest you get a 2-monitor setup and ask any developer, any artist, anyone who pretty much does anything with a computer. They'll tell you that having a 2-monitor setup is one of the most important things you can do. Definitely get a second monitor if possible, even if it's a very cheap one. Get one for $100, $80. Find something cheap and small. You want to have 2 monitors for this kind of thing. You can do fine without it. It's just really going to help you out, and it's something you want to invest in for the future, even if you're not using it just for this course. So you might be asking as well, what kind of skills do I need going into this course? You're going to need the ability to follow along with a video, just as long as you have comprehension to look at what's happening on a video and apply that to your screen. That's all you really need. Basic computer skills, you should know how to use a mouse, how to use a keyboard, how to type. Very basic stuff, guys. You need to have a desire to learn and to kind of be really excited and proactive about your education. I'm not just going to baby you through a lot of this stuff. I want you to kind of go through it and understand the core concepts and learn on your own how to apply that to the project you want to make in the future. You know, I'm trying to get through a lot of very basic concepts in a very fairly small course. So it's important for you to have that self-responsibility, that sense of excitement about it, that sense of pursuing things that you want to learn to apply to your own projects. But that's basically it. So the course format, it's not a very standard course format. You're going to be expected to actively do the things I'm doing on your screen as you're watching me do them. So you might want to reduce the playback speed of the video, which you can do on YouTube. You might want to pause the video frequently maybe after a couple steps, you can kind of catch up. Again, I can't stress how important it is to have 2 monitors enough. It's very, very important. It's really going to help you out, especially for that stuff that we're doing, okay? So you're just basically going to be following along what I'm doing and doing it actively as I do it. We're not going to be having lectures and PowerPoints. This is the only PowerPoint I have, just because this is something you can't really get across with any other means, really. So we're not going to have lectures, not going to have tests, not going to have quizzes. This is all about just doing things, the immersion, and just diving right into this stuff. All right. So throughout the videos as well, there's going to be every once in a while, I'll tell you to just maybe pause the video and try to figure something out yourself. Obviously, it's optional, but I do suggest when I tell you to pause the video and try to figure something out, or I ask a question, try to answer that question before you go on in the video, because I will answer. I'm not going to ask a question and not answer it for you. So, you know, again, be proactive about your education. Pause the video, try to figure it out. Worst case scenario, if you can't figure it out, just watch how I do it. Otherwise, you're going to see how I do it either way. So every once in a while, you might want to check out the documents that come with these lessons. Each lesson has its own document. It's not a huge summary of the course. It's not going to walk you through every step I do in the video. It's really just a small supplementary text document. The basic things it has is achievements. That's the first thing you're going to see on every one of them. So this shows you what you should have learned throughout that lesson. If you see an achievement on there and you don't really feel confident that you learned that effectively, one thing you can do is go back and do it again, watch through the whole video again, do the steps again. If you're still not getting it after that, be sure to send me a message or comment and let me know that you kind of struggled with this achievement, and maybe I can add some more supplementary text in there. Or if it's, you know, if it's a really dire situation, maybe I could redo the video. So let me know if you're having an issue even after you've watched it a second time, and I'll try to help you out. Most of them will also have a troubleshooting and maybe a glossary section. So these will have maybe some basically questions that I have thought of that a lot of students have, and especially throughout my teaching career at Wilmington University, I can tell you I get the same questions every single semester, every single class, and this helps me to know, like, these are the things that people are going to ask me, so I can be better prepared to answer those questions, or even answer them before they even ask them, right? So those are in most of them. Some of them aren't very thorough and don't have many troubleshooting or glossary section. I'm going to actually be filling out the troubleshooting content in each document as students ask questions. So again, it's kind of up to you guys to help me understand what you need to understand better. If there's something that you had an issue with, maybe you had some kind of error, something that I did not address in the video and you couldn't figure it out, it'd be a good idea to put that in a comment or send that to me, and I can append the troubleshooting document and say, okay, this is a question someone asked, and if you have this question, this is how you're going to solve it. All right, so in conclusion, have fun. That's super cheesy, but I want you to have fun with this. Feel free to do something slightly different from what I'm doing. Like if I'm saying make something move right, feel free to make it move left if you want to challenge yourself. It's not going to hurt you too bad if you stray off the path a little bit. Don't go too crazy with it unless you're really, really confident, but feel free to do that. That's not really going to hurt you. Make sure you take notes. What's really important is writing things out in your own words. If you see me writing comments, which, you know, I'll explain what a comment is in the lessons, but if you see me writing comments, write it out differently than I'm doing it. That's very important. So When you write something on your own words, it really helps you kind of remember it and grasp it. This one is extremely important. You have to learn to Google things. You have to learn to research on your own. Obviously, this isn't a face-to-face environment. I can communicate with you and help you, but you're not going to have someone there that's going to answer all your questions all the time. A lot of times with this kind of stuff, and just with other things in life too, you have to figure them out on your own. We have wonderful tools available to us. We have YouTube, Google, stuff like Udemy. We have so many resources available to us that there's not really an excuse to not know how to figure something out, right? So I don't like to hear from my students, I don't know how to do this. I like to hear them say, I don't know how to do this, let me try to figure it out, and then if I can't do it, can you help me? Okay, so try to figure stuff out on your own, try to Google things, check through multiple results, don't just look at the first one. If you don't find your answer, give up. You need to learn to Google things in this career, pretty much any career. So one thing that's very important for people to understand is that game development and coding are not pretty things. They're not beautiful, organized things that just work all the time. They're very frustrating and very stressful. And this is something a lot of teachers try to kind of sugarcoat, and it's not good to do that because you're not getting that reality check. Ask any coder, they will tell you it can be extremely stressful, but it can also be very rewarding when you finally solve an issue you've been having for a couple of days, or you finally figure something out in the shower, in your sleep, you wake up with a brilliant idea of how to fix something, right? So it's not a pretty career. No matter how people want to kind of glamorize it, it's not a glamorous career. So just kind of be prepared for some frustration that will come, all right? Just understand that everyone goes through it. Just because you get stuck on something or get frustrated or can't figure something out, every coder does that, no matter how long they've been coding. I've been coding for over a decade, and I still get stuck all the time. And this is not just me, it's everybody, okay? So don't think because you're struggling, you're not cut out to be a coder, all right? It's how you deal with those and how you solve those issues and how you research and overcome those issues that's important. That's what makes you a coder. That's what makes you a game developer. Breaks are really important. If you find yourself getting frustrated and stuck, take a break, take a walk, go take a shower, exercise, play a game or something. Do something that is not the code, all right? Walk away from your computer. A lot of times you just need your brain to relax for you to figure out a problem. If you're staring at your screen for an hour, not accomplishing anything, it's time to take a break. Apply what you learn to whatever you're trying to work on. So what I mean by this is it might even help to do this supplementary on the side to work on a private project you've come up with and apply the things as you learn them in the lessons to that project you're working on so that you're actively reverse engineering something you've learned and applying it to something new. That's a really good way to learn this stuff. Otherwise, have fun. Let me know if you have questions. I'm more than willing to help you out. I want to help you guys succeed. I want to see you succeed. If you're working on something, send it to me, and I would love to see your work and see what you've come up with.